What's good? What's good? I am blessed right now, and I just wanted to talk about it. I don't want to come off as like I'm bragging or anything like that, but I have finally been able to put together 2 part-time jobs in the same city that will work around each other's schedules, that will enable me to work close to 50 to 60 hours a week. That's a blessing to me. For the last several years, I have struggled to either find one job that pays well, that, I'd be willing to work 45 to 55 hours a week doing. I've worked a salary job before. I've worked hourly as well. So I've just been able to find one job to do that. But then try to juggle 2 jobs, but both jobs want you to generally have open availability, or it's just really difficult to get a good enough amount of hours at each job to really get past that 40-hour mark. And I know a lot of Americans are struggling either with just finding literally in the same situation I'm in, where one job isn't enough, but it's really hard to juggle 2 jobs, not just because of their demands, but the fact that we are humans and not robots, and we get tired and hungry and cranky, and we're underpaid, and it's a fucking nightmare right now in this economy for the average American. I know some people who are doing great, who are doing fine. I try really hard not to be jealous of them, but sometimes it happens, but I'm working past it. But I know most Americans are struggling, and so I'm blessed. I feel it sounds crazy to think, a blessing is the fact that I have 2 jobs, but given the state of affairs right now, that's a good situation to be in, because if I can buckle down and work really hard for the next 6 months, I'll be able to actually get some traction financially. I have just been unable to get anywhere financially, even though I've been living in my van for the last year and a half. And that's not entirely true, because I've been able to, over the last year and a half, invest, like almost $4,000 into my sleep apnea oral orthodontal treatment. I've put in about 4 out of 10 grand. And I don't think I would have been able to do that had I not been living in my van. So the only way I've been able to save up the thousands of dollars is by not paying rent. And I'm blessed. I have a little bit of credit card debt. It fluctuates between about $2,000 and $4,000. Right now it's on the higher end, because I just had to drop almost $2,000 for the teeth thing. But if I can buckle down, let me get back on track. If I can buckle down and work really hard for 6 months, I think I can actually get somewhere. My goal, or one of my goals, or one of the manifestation sort of futures I'm trying to project out, is this idea where I have 2 to 3 tokens of Ethereum. It's a cryptocurrency. And at the time that I have 2 to 3 tokens, the value will be about $10,000 a token, putting me at $20,000 to $30,000 of value. And then I will cash that out, and that's how I buy my land. That's one of the sort of visualizations I'm trying to manifest, or one of the manifestations I'm trying to create in this timeline. And I think in 6 months, if I work really hard, I could get there to 2 to 3 Ethereum tokens. And right now it's only at about 4,000. It's been flirting with wanting to rally or wanting to go back down to sort of resistance levels or whatever. I honestly don't know what it's going to do in the next 6 months. I don't think it's going to hit the 10K mark in the next 6 months. I think that'll be about 1 to 3 years away. I hope it's only about a year and a half away. And in that year and a half, I get to the 2 to 3 tokens, because fucking dream. Land. I know that's almost, land and boobs are probably the 2 things I think about the most in life, outside of like my fun philosophical thought experiments, and because I'll go to random places. I love to think, I very much love to get inside my head. And so things that are not, I guess, intellectually associated, so more of the superficial, material, mundane things, all I think about are land and boobs. Because to me, land and boobs signify the greatest things on this planet, which is the ability to interact with this planet, the land part, because with land you can have chickens, you can have ducks, you can have goats, you can have horses and cows. I particularly don't want to deal with the horses and cows. That's just a lot more than I want for myself, but I want other people to want that because I want beef and I want horses in the world, and I think they're awesome. It's just, I think my vision is going to be ducks, chickens, dogs, goats, maybe some alpacas, some emus, some fun things here and there as well. But literally the purpose of this incarnation in time, where we're at right now, in this 3D dimension with these physical bodies and egos and personalities and brains, the purpose is experiencing the planet. That's why we're here. If I'm inclined to believe in like some form of reincarnation, you know, if there is a soul somewhere in here, or it's like being projected from another dimension, and then once this existence ends, you go back to the other dimension. I don't know, but I think there's merit to this idea of reincarnation. And then if you are reincarnated, let's say in 1,000 years as an alien, as like a gray, that's a very common alien. And we're going into weird places, but when I'm not thinking about land and boobs, this is the stuff I'm thinking about. So in 1,000 years, let's say you're reincarnated as an alien, as a gray alien. Your purpose then will be to experience whatever planet or spaceship or wherever you are at that time in space. At that moment in space time. At this current moment in space time, we are human beings living on planet Earth. That's our mission, is Earth, spaceship Earth. And so that's the land part of why it's so important and why it's like the whole purpose of life at this point in time. And then the boobs part is just, I mean, I think self-explanatory. I'm sorry, but most people like boobs. Gay, straight, man, woman. And it makes sense because it's like your most intimate initial source of nourishment and affection and warmth, and it goes deep, but we make it sexual. But anyway, so boobs, and it also signifies like, to me, not just specifically boobs, but I think I'm a very abstract thinker. So this concept of boobs, it symbolizes what I just said, the nourishment, intimacy, love, but beyond that, procreation and sort of the continuation of the species. If reincarnation is real, we kind of need to continue producing beings for more souls to attach to or to come into, interact with. I don't know how it works. That's just kind of how I view it. And so boobs, it's fertility, it's intimacy, it's love, it's arousal. They're just so cool. I mean, I like butts too, don't get me wrong. Women in general, like I'll kind of wrap up the video on this random thing. What did I start talking about? How I'm blessed to have 2 jobs. And I think being blessed and having 2 jobs, when I get to a better financial place where I'm not so just defeated, I look at women, but I don't really look at women. My phone notification. Anyways, okay. Like, I don't try to flirt with them. They're a human, whatever. Dignity, love, respect, but you know, my world is so clouded by stress that I don't even try to date. I don't even think about dating, but I would like to. And so, because women are what I wanted to wrap up the video on, just so beautiful. All races, just so beautiful. I don't have a type, which is partially a problem because when you don't have a type, it's hard to manifest or visualize a future wife. But it's like, you're all just so beautiful. I'll end the video here. I was going to say something really controversial, but I'll end the video here. Women are beautiful. Land is a necessity. It's time to hustle and work. Much love, y'all.